Yeah, welcome back again. I'm really sorry. Apologies for cutting off. My connection was not very good, but I'm back again. So I will not start from where I started earlier, but moving forward from where we stopped. So as I mentioned earlier, the briefcase has a lot of definition in regards to our history as South Sudanese, and one of it is the fact that South Sudan is one of the countries that is facing a high level corruption, and most of our wealth or most of our resources ended up in foreign countries, and how they leave this country is not only through the banks, but most of it left the country through the briefcase, and most of the briefcase looks like the one that was shared by Uganda Airline and carrying the flag of South Sudan. So that did not go well with us because it's like we are reminding us of how our country is being looted, not only by South Sudanese, but also by foreigners. Because I've been in South Sudan for so many years and I've seen a lot of companies in South Sudan that do not benefit South Sudanese, not because they're not giving services, but because there is high level of unemployment among the youth. Some of these youth are graduates, they have papers, but they couldn't be employed by these companies simply because most of our companies are foreign companies that are owned by foreigners and they employ foreigners. So for that case, we denounce the briefcase. Coming to the issue of the Blue House or the National Security Service building, it has no negative connotations to all of us. But as I said earlier, we cannot or nobody can allow somebody else to use that kind of a physical infrastructure to represent a country. And I gave an example of Uganda. We have Luzira. Luzira is the biggest prison in Uganda, and I don't think it has ever appeared in Uganda tourism placards or banners or posters and so forth. So that will be really very bad. So moving forward, I would like to also give some few highlights on how we can improve these relations between South Sudan and our neighbors, including Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, and other East African countries and the whole world. How we can do this is to make sure at least South Sudanese are given a chance to express themselves and to tell their story. And how we can do that is by making sure that, like for example, Uganda Airlines, if they had a South Sudanese that was employed as one of their staff, that person would have told them how we want to be represented. We would have contextualized the image of South Sudan. But because most of the foreign companies employ foreigners or employ their own citizens from their mother countries, who doesn't know the history of South Sudan, who doesn't know the context of South Sudan, they end up misrepresenting South Sudanese. And that will always lead to such outcry on social media. And for us to avoid that, I will have to give you some few recommendations on how we can move forward. One is making sure at least you employ South Sudanese. There are so many South Sudanese graduates who have no jobs and they can be of help, and as a business you need to make sure at least people, your products are being taken by the people, especially South Sudanese. South Sudan or South Sudanese have a lot of homes in Uganda. Me myself, Uganda is my second home, and I had wished that my daughter was here, Pajok, who speaks a very good Luganda, so that she can speak to you in Luganda and tell you exactly that we are also South Sudanese and we are Ugandans. For that matter, I don't think it is advisable to have some shaky relationship with Uganda or Kenya because most of our families are living in Kenya and Uganda. So, and for that matter, we want to be recognized, we want to be accepted, and we want to be represented the way we want it. So by doing so, we can achieve it by employing South Sudanese to tell or to contextualize the messages that reflect South Sudanese way of life or how they want to be represented. So, for example, if you cannot employ a South Sudanese, or if you have some of South Sudanese that are employed, you also need to look at how you can bring on board some consultants like the PRs who will tell you exactly how you can repackage your product and how you can communicate best with the South Sudanese population. So we have South Sudanese who eat their lunch in Uganda and come back to South Sudan because their family is there. We have people who go for birthdays with their loved ones in Uganda and they use Uganda Airlines. So Uganda Airlines services are very good. I can testify to that. But if you're not able to represent us the way we want, if you're not able to communicate to us the way we want, then that will affect our business dealings with Uganda Airlines. So all in all, I think I'm crying out again, asking Uganda Airlines to make sure at least they listen to our voices once again. They did it before, and I'm very hopeful they will do it again. I want them to listen to our voices and also change that picture or that photo with a better one. Any other structure in Juba, any other physical infrastructure is okay with me, as long as it is not National Security Service Blue House, as long as it is not briefcase that was used to loot this country. The reason as to why we don't have health facilities right now, good health facilities, the reason we still take our children to Uganda for studies, the reason we still don't have all the basics or all the services we need as a country is because our money was looted by a few individuals and taken out of the country using the same briefcase. So we, as the majority South Sudanese, we would not want to associate with that. And we accept your apology. It's well taken. But please, our last request is to make sure you listen to us and change that photo to a better one. And we really appreciate. Thank you so much for being such a very honest business partner. We'll always use Uganda Airlines, but still we'll express ourselves. You cannot take us from a briefcase to a prison. That is terrible. So you better do something else. You better take us somewhere else and represent us the way you represent other countries like Tanzania and Kenya. Yeah, because there are a lot of we have prisons all over East Africa. We have national security buildings all over East Africa. So why didn't you use the same if that was the case? We have briefcase with Kenya flags. We have briefcase with Tanzanian's flag. So that was not the case. But for us, we will always advocate for ourselves because it seems like we are ignored by our neighbors. It seems like we are not recognized by our neighbors, and that is heartbreaking. I was in Ethiopia, traveling, going to Bangkok, and at the airport, at Bole International Airport, I was shocked that there was no South Sudanese flag. There were so many other flags, even outside East African region. So I approached one of the people who works at the airport and asked him, how come that we don't have a South Sudanese flag? The person looked at me from up down and looked at me again, and he was like, what do you mean? I'm like, no, I'm seeing a lot of flags from different countries, but I'm not seeing South Sudanese flag. So I'm asking, why don't you have, or why don't the airport at least also add our flag as South Sudanese? And he said, I don't know. I was like, okay, fine. I didn't give up. I approached a lady at the counter, and I was like, can I talk to you, mom? And she was like, yeah, you can talk to me. I was like, okay, fine. At least this one, she speaks good English. Then I asked her, why not? How come there's no South Sudanese flag at the airport? And she looked at me and she was like, okay, to be honest, I don't know why, but I think you guys should not focus on the flag. You better go back home and address your issues. And I was like, yeah, we're doing that, but also we need to be recognized. And then she was like, okay, fine, go do that first, then you come back and ask that question, I'll answer you. I was like, okay, fine. The answer is you don't know why it is not there. I'll take that. Sending me back home to go and fix ourselves, yeah, it's okay, it's an insult, but somehow it is a painful truth. So, we need to be accepted. We need to be recognized. So we're not living in an island. We're living as members of East African community. So, and for that matter, we need to always air out our views in a very understandable and professional manner. And this is one step forward. I would like to thank people like Mengisto who stood their ground and even reached out to Uganda Airlines in inbox and tried to express themselves, and which led to this change we had now. So I cannot mention all the names of South Sudanese who stood their ground to make sure this is not done and it shouldn't repeat itself. I will not mention all your names, but I will say thank you for standing up for your nationality, for your country. Despite the fact that we have challenges here and there, it doesn't mean that we can't be recognized as South Sudanese in every way possible. Thank you so much. My name is Atim Sijin. These are my own opinions. They don't relate to any institution. As a South Sudanese youth, this is my own opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion. Thank you so much, and may God bless South Sudan, may God bless Uganda, and may God bless East Africa.